Hello, I am Teresa Hong. Welcome to Overkill. Okay, number 6. I cannot believe it. We are at the wonderful Partisan once again. Thank you, RC. Thank you, Partisan, for hosting, for sponsoring, for letting us come here. Cheers. Libations are, sorry, my phone's ringing. Libations are very, very strong, and they are local, and it's awesome. Come and support them. I have a very, very special guest with me today. I'd like to think of him as a personal friend, but I really don't know anything about him. Joel Scott Shade from the Playhouse Merced. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
So much. I always cheer.
Thank you.
Yes,
here's to
cheers.
you.
Yes, no, here's to you. Thank you for coming on. It took a lot of arm twisting to get you on. So.
Well, right. I'm happy to be here and happy to. I'm like, oh no, that's cool. That's fun. But right, I'm not much of a talker.
Yeah, I
until
know.
Right. But for the most part, I'm like, yeah. And I hang back in the background and just nod
you're good with that.
whatever.
You're
yeah.
good with that.
No, totally.
Yeah.
That's why I'm the music director, instead
Yes.
of being on stage.
Yes, music.
I am happy up in my little corner.
But you did do Willy Wonka.
I did do Willy Wonka.
Yeah. So I guess when you're mean to kids, when you have an excuse to be mean to kids, then you'll be on
That
stage.
was a fun role.
Right
where I
on.
can just be sarcastic and tell little kids what I really think of them.
And get away with it.
Right? Oh no, it's just Willy Wonka, man. It's fine.
I'm playing the
Just a
character.
character,
It's
yeah.
okay. It's good. I really love you. Okay, cool. So, how long have you been musical director for Playhouse Merced?
Playhouse Merced, this is my 8th season. I
season.
moved out here in 2004 to become resident music director.
Wow.
I had driven out, jobbed out twice before that, just to do single shows. And the second time I was out here for Cabaret, the artistic director said he could bring me on full time if I wanted. And I was like, all right. And that was a big step and a big change.
Yeah,
But
where did you come from?
I was from Pennsylvania.
A lot
Went
of
to-
Northerners that end up here.
Right? Yeah.
Like-
And then the Southern Arkansas crazies.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Claude was the artistic director at the time, had done a show at the summer stock I was working for in Pennsylvania, Patsy Cline, and said, oh, we're doing it in California, I'm going to put it on the books, come out, I know you've already music directed, you'll be great. I was like, okay, and it didn't happen the one year, and I saw him again. He's like, no, we're really going to do it. I was like, okay.
Okay, whatever.
So I went out, and it was awesome. First, coming from the East Coast is much more, we'll say, serious
Yes.
about theater and working.
Yes.
And I got out here and like, we'll probably have a rehearsal tomorrow. I was like, okay. Noon something. I was like, okay. We were doing full day rehearsals because it was short professional time period.
Right. Did that drive you insane?
Oh no, well I'm used to summer stock, so we would
Okay.
work
Okay.
10 to 8,
Okay.
put up a show in a week and a half. So that's kind of what Patsy Cline was. So we did it, and he's like, well, we got the board's throwing a party for people tonight, so come over. I was like, okay. He said, yeah, we're going to cancel the rehearsal tomorrow night because there's some other function we have to go to, so it was very laid back.
So,
all right.
And did that drive you crazy, or were you like, ooh, relief? Okay.
Well, it was nice. I was like, oh, well, if this is how theater works out here, all right.
Okay.
And we still got everything done, which is cool.
Cool.
I also went to Louisiana, to New Orleans, and they were laid back, but they didn't get their stuff done. So that was...
They were too laid back.
Right. It was like, are we going to work sometime? Because, we got a show to put up.
Yeah. No. Hey, I'm from Texas. I know how those Louisianans are.
All slow, and the driving, couldn't believe. People would just stop in the middle of the street.
Yeah, I know they would.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we stopping
They're
for?
taking a sip of their beer.
Right.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They don't drink and drive. They stop.
Right.
Then they drink.
What's
And then they
driving?
drive. Yeah, that's all it is. No, it's all good. So you had a pit stop there, and then you ended up in Merced. So it was really for the job? I mean...
Yep. I was doing summer stock. I was teaching in a music store, teaching full-time piano and voice, which wasn't entirely what I wanted to do, but it was a pretty easy gig. I had a church gig. I was music director for a church.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a pretty laid-back, easy life and was doing fine.
Right.
Wasn't necessarily thriving or ever going to make huge amounts of money, but it's like, okay.
Right.
And he said, we can give you all the shows for the season, and it's not a lot of money, but I'm sure you can find some church gigs, or you can teach and supplement.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I thought it was worth the move.
Okay. And
So-
what did you think about Merced when you first got here, being from Pennsylvania? I mean, that must have been like a huge culture shock.
No, well, that's interesting that everyone thinks Pennsylvania is
No, and
Something?
I do know it's not like Pennsylvania, like being like, ooh,
Right.
wow. But yeah, I mean, my parents have a cabin in upper state New York.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's very similar, and people automatically always think New York City. So when I say California, people always automatically think like LA or San Francisco, and not Merced.
Yep.
So
Yep. First on that, now that's the same thing when I moved out here. It's like, oh, I'm moving to California. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Why?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, no,
Beaches and woo, pretty girls, and yeah,
it's Merced. It's just
Yeah.
like one of our larger cities here around here.
yeah.
But the people that I don't care to, like, oh yeah, no, I'm in California. It's big.
Yeah,
huge.
yeah, I got you.
Big out
so,
there.
so what was like? So when you came out here, was there any like a moment that you went, oh fuck, what the
No,
hell did I
actually,
do?
the Merced, oddly enough, is bigger than my hometown, maybe the size of the city I was teaching in.
Okay,
So it was not any less that I was used to. I'm like, ah, this is actually a lot like Pennsylvania. It felt like Williamsport, one of our cities right around.
really?
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, this just feels like. So it was fine. Walked into, I think I went into Gottschalk's just to look at some music
Yeah.
or see whatever. They're like, oh, I don't know if they could tell I was different or not from around here.
No, you're not from around here.
Right. It's like, where are you? You've been. I said, oh, I'm from Pennsylvania, just out here. And they're like, oh, well, welcome to Merced, and we're glad you're here, and blah blah blah. So everyone was very welcoming that I ended up talking to. Once they found out that I was not from Merced, they were all very kind. And I was like, ah, well, this is nice. You're all very nice.
And it's so funny because I mean, we're not dissing Merced because I love Merced.
Right.
I really do.
Yeah.
I love Merced. I mean, I think the community and just the, how people really, for the most part, try to support one another.
Right.
I think that's great. But I'm always really interested, being an outsider myself, what other people's experiences are kind of going into a situation to
Right.
where you're just kind of like, wow, this is. I always compare it to on It's a Wonderful Life. It's not by any means Bedford Falls. It's more like Pottersville.
Right.
It's it's kind of small, but still, you've got kind of the, which I kind of always liked Pottersville better than Bedford Falls.
Well,
I
it
don't
seemed
know.
like much more fun.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's kind of like I'm always asking people like, hey, so you're from the outside,
Right.
Yeah.
Nope, had a great experience when I moved out and found a church gig immediately and was teaching at the conservatory, and it all really fell very nicely,
That's cool.
and that things were starting to groove.
That's really cool.
You said something and I was gonna jump on it, but I forget.
I don't know. I was talking about Bedford Falls. I was talking about Pottersville. I was talking about, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. But no. It'll come back to you. It'll be good. It'll be good. So 8 years you've been
8 years.
Playhouse.
Yeah, I came in as resident music director.
Now, what's resident music director?
Well, I guess it's that I'm here.
You are a resident, therefore you are a
Right.
music director.
And I do all the shows. That was the thing, because he offered all the shows
Okay.
that I would do. I would be the music director for the season.
Okay. All right.
And that worked. At some point, they wanted to put me on staff. And I was like, oh, I don't think so. Because I had a much better gig doing freelance. Once you're on staff, then I have to be
Then
cleaning the
they've got your
bathrooms
balls.
and
Right.
doing whatever they need me anytime. I was like, no, that's fine. I'll just.
Okay. So is that like more of like a kind of a contract position to where they just you're not?
Yep, I'm an independent contractor.
Okay.
So now with Rob, I set up the shows I want to do for the season.
Okay.
And figure it all out ahead of
Okay.
time.
But you set up all the shows, but it seems like you're still kind of in all of them, at least.
Right,
At
yeah.
least the ones with music.
Right. Well, that's the thing too. I started and I was doing every show, and it got to the point where I was like, oh, now I don't need to do every show, and I really don't like a lot of these shows. So we found some of the older music directors, not older, former music directors. They are older.
Okay.
Kind of came back, or we got them. They wanted to do one show, so I was like, oh, that's great. You can do that show, and I'll
Cool.
do these. To where it got to the point where I was really choosing which shows I wanted to do,
That's
which
awesome.
made me much happier.
Right. So which ones are you doing this year?
This year, I'm in the midst of 9 to 5.
Right.
We're doing Rocky Horror coming
Yay.
up. I'm doing Annie.
I don't know why you're doing Annie, but why did
Normally-
Rob like stronghold you? Did he like peer pressure you? With the picture
No,
of beer?
lots of times he
No.
does.
All right.
Wizard of Oz.
All right. Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, right. Last year, I was like, I don't know. I mean, I could do Wizard of Oz. I know the show. He's like, no, I really need you. I need you to help. I'm like, okay.
Right.
And,
Right.
yes, it was
Yeah.
fine.
It was a fine, really. Ooh. So why did you decide Annie?
Annie, because I didn't want to do Urinetown,
Okay.
and Daryl wanted to, our other music director.
Okay.
Really likes that show and was all about it. I
Okay.
was like, that's cool. You take care of that.
Okay.
I don't want to do West Side Story. Oh my good lord.
I don't blame you. I don't want to do West Side Story. Yeah, I don't. I don't want to do West Side Story. That just seems like a major headache. You know.
That's right, and another mess that our friend Shente got us into. That gave Rob the okay. He's like, no, you should really, nope, we can do that.
We'll train the dancers. We'll
Right.
do a breeding ground. Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, what the fuck are we gonna do now?
That's what I was worried, like I wouldn't want to cast that, or know that I don't think we have the people.
I don't think we do
Sorry.
either.
Right.
No. I mean, I agree. I don't think so. Hey, Mercedians, people who do not know about the Playhouse Merced, check out playhousemerced.com for the audition schedule because they are always looking for new talent.
Right, and we had some new people for Rocky, and it was great to see them. And it was like, Al, you have a great look, and you can sing, and you're new. Where have you been?
Right.
Why did you just come out for this one? We
Right.
never know if it's just the shows that they like.
Right. So Annie, and then so you're not doing Urinetown.
Right. I wasn't doing Urinetown or West Side Story, so I'm a little bit of a whore. So I was like, well, I need some money. I said I could probably do Annie. I was like, no, I'll put you down for it. That's good.
But you are
Okay.
doing Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yes, I'm a superstar.
Awesome. Okay, good.
So I ended up doing 4 shows this year, which is
That's
good.
awesome.
Yep.
That's cool. All right, yeah. Note to self then.
And
Note to
Annie,
self.
I've music directed before, and that's one, like all the Rodgers and Hammersteins. We
Yes.
did King and I last year, which I don't like the show, but I get it. I was like, I know Rodgers and Hammerstein, and I know how to.
When you
music
say you
direct
don't
that.
know the show but you get it,
I don't like the show. Sorry.
you don't like the show but you get it. As far as get it, like that the audience loves it, or you get the music.
No, I
or-
get how to music direct. I understand the music and what they were going for and why they did all this stuff.
Okay.
So I'm like, I can music direct that. I understand it.
Okay. All right.
I
Okay.
don't like it all the time, or there's some stupid stuff.
Right,
Which
right.
there are some shows that I don't get.
Right.
I'm like, what?
So when you first saw, I mean, just like curious, when you first saw 9 to 5 and all the just insanely crazy ass music, what did you think? What did you think?
Let me have another.
That's a traumatic experience for Joel. He really did not like the music at first.
I saw. It wasn't necessarily that I didn't like it, but it was more that it was forgettable to me. I saw it in West Virginia, which I thought when I saw it was a very good production. I was like, you guys did a good job with this. I think it's a bad show, but you guys tried. There were lots of good moments. God bless you.
And that's about as best compliment as he'll give you too.
I know.
All right, go ahead.
Look at you guys. Okay, that's nice. So I saw I didn't like some of the things they did, but that was just choices. But the music, love 9 to 5. We did it for the preview and put it on the books. And I was like, this is good. I like this arrangement, and that's cool. Maybe this whole show's like this. Good. And then I saw it, and I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Right.
So then I came back to Merced, sad that I was all gung-ho before. I was like, Rob, I don't
This
do this.
fucking sucks.
He's like, no, you'll like it. I was like, no. And we got into casting and the auditions and the first rehearsal. I was like, ugh. But the more I played it, I was like, this is good stuff. And it's a nice mix of, it's not all country.
Right.
It's all Dolly Parton, which
Yes.
surprised me. I'm like, I guess I knew she wrote, but he's
Yeah.
like, you're gonna write a Broadway show?
Yeah.
All right, look at you.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, it was. You know, there's a lot of, and you know, it's kind of funny because speaking of that, you know, I mean, you know, my first audition ever was 9 to 5. And
Ever in your life? I've asked you before.
Ever in my life.
You've done theater before?
I had,
And just not auditioned?
in high school.
Right.
In high school, you didn't have to audition really in
Ah.
high school. No. I mean, seriously, this really was my first real audition, and so I had no idea what I was expecting. And going in, you know, the first one, it's like, you know, what we were talking about off camera before. You know, you come in and you have your piece ready, and you're just
Right.
like, okay, cool. You know, I can knock this out of the park. I know it, whatever. But then you go back, and and this guy threw the most fucking off the wall song. Love you too. He threw a Roz song, which if you guys are familiar with 9 to 5, Roz is the crazy administrative assistant that loves Mr. Hart. Nobody knew it because everybody was like, oh, well, I want Violet, or I want Doralee, or I want, Judy. And sorry about the people who aren't theater oriented, but just bear with me. So for the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I auditioned for too, I'm still waiting. I said to myself, okay, now what the fuck is he gonna pull out? What is he gonna pull out? And I went through all the songs and I said, okay, Rose Tints My World. That's what he's gonna pull out because it is that. Yes. And it was so funny because Dan was downstairs, producer. Dan was downstairs and he heard those notes and he was like, nice. My bitch.
She called
knows him. Because I was like, great, because I got up there and I was like, yes, I know this, it's all good, it's cool. But you gravitate towards, with the audition process, I think you gravitate towards like these songs that nobody in their fucking mind is gonna really go, I'm gonna do, touch me, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that. So kudos to you and respect to you for that, because you are, and you do, and you have very, very high expectations. So like what, for a Merced point of view, with the people that are coming out, could you just like make a plea, number one, like what you just did, as far as, getting other talent, even if it's from surrounding communities, because we do get a lot of viewers, but number two, what are you looking for? Because you really do, you have a very, and I hate to say it because, for Merced standards, and I think Rob is like this too. Rob is the director of Playhouse Merced. You guys have a very, very high standard and really demand a lot out of people, which I think is great. Right. So what are you looking for, with that, to where, okay, oh God, this bitch sucks, or this bitch sucks, or whatever, what do you look for? What is like the charisma? What is the...
One thing for anyone, and we encourage everyone to come out. Lots of people are so worried, and they're like, oh, I'm going to be so nervous, and Rob and I are actually very nice up in the audition process.
They are.
And we're encouraging, and there are people that stop and like, can I start over? It's like, yeah, that's fine. Take your time, take a deep breath, that's good. And we're so don't stay away because you think we're all going to be very, very mean and
No, they really are. They're very, very wonderful. And I must say that. I really do.
And we do want new talent. I don't know if there's the talk out there. It comes and goes. That we only cast whatever people we know, or we always put the same people in. We are always looking for new faces.
Well, I think that I'm a testimonial to that.
Right. Right.
I really do, considering that I kind of came out of nowhere and you guys took a chance on me, which thank you for that. But, always. And I think that's great. I think it's great to see, fresh faces. But, it's, and they are very kind. They're very, very kind.
So when you do come out, you just sing a song for us and whatever. What we're really looking for, first we need you to be able to sing reasonably well.
Yeah. Hope so.
And for auditions, that's all you need to do is just be good enough or show something that we want to hear you again for callbacks. So then at callbacks, then we throw everything at you and have you read a bunch of different sides, and I pick songs. And I do pick, I didn't pick the Rose Tint My World, actually. Rob
really?
did.
Rob did? Wow.
And he wanted to do Touch Me. And I was like, whatever.
See, and you said no, see? So really kind of was.
Right. And with Music Man, the two girls that ended up doing a final callback for Marion, they're like, I thought you were going to have, what's the one?
Oh, I know exactly. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Good Night, My Someone.
No, see, and I would have done it completely opposite.
Yep, no, so I did My White Knight. And they're like, no, I didn't think you'd do that. And it's like, no, first it really shows off stuff, and no one knows it, so I get to see.
That's exactly right. See, God, for somebody to, it's like, I know you. I'm like, no, he's going to pick the most off-the-wall song on the phone.
And lots of theaters send you home with things after auditions. They're like, okay, look at this cut and look at this stuff. But to me, that's then they can get very prepared, and then they can be
cheating.
very good.
It's
Right.
cheating, and and that's why I really love this. I mean, and I've never been in a process before, so I really don't know. But I love this process.
Right on. Good.
I really do. I mean, the Rocky Horror was really, really. I mean, I had fun with it.
Yeah,
it was
good.
really, really fun, and so new talent,
Right,
come on out,
right.
coming out. Yeah. So that's cool. I just yeah, and I don't know. It's just so much fun. And that's why, I mean, I really wanted you on because number one, I think that you're an incredible person, and I think you're an incredible musician. And he does teach incredible voice and, I mean, incredible piano. But also, I really, really want to plug the Playhouse because I just feel like it is a gem in Merced that surprisingly not a lot of people know about.
Very interesting that we'll say,
I mean, where
like,
am
what do
I?
you do? And I'm like, oh, I work for Playhouse Merced. I'm like, what's that?
What's that?
Where's that? I was like,
Right.
really? You don't have
Right, yeah.
So somehow we're not getting our message out.
Right.
Or,
Right, and I just don't get that. I don't get it. I think that, and kind of going on like a serious tangent, and I spoke, to Chente about this when he was on. It was very much I think that the arts is so important. Not only because education, and I know that a lot of business people and a lot of people are just like whatever, but those are the people that succeed more. Those are the people that are going
Right.
to be, the highest achieving students. Those are the people that you're going to want to hire. Those are the people. I mean, the majority of the people at Playhouse, we do not get paid. The players don't get paid.
right,
Most of us have full-time jobs.
right.
This is an additional full-time job, and it's just like, come on, business people. Come on, community. I mean, support this gem of a arts community to where we're all coming in and we're all kind of giving our all under you and Rob's direction, and really working hard to give something back besides going to the multiplex, besides
Right.
going to it's good entertainment, it's
Yeah.
good theater, it's good I mean, what you guys turn something into, which I mean, at the beginning you're like, oh
Right.
fuck.
Right.
I don't know. And then at the very end, put something out that you can really be proud of. I mean, that's really, really amazing. And that's why I think that I respect you and Rob so much that you guys can envision this and go, yeah, okay, we can do this, and get the people and go through this process and put all the right people together, which
That's-
is really, that's what blows me away. I mean,
Right.
I just look at you guys and go, and that's how come I don't question you guys. I just sit there and I'm just like,
Well, that's nice. Thank you.
okay. I don't, because I'm just like, all right, well, there's a method to their madness, and I'm just going to sit back and I'm just going to, wait for it because I know it'll all work out. I
Just
mean, you
wait
guys
for
have
it.
proved it to me,
Right.
proved it to me, and that's what it is. Yeah.
I think we do good work and put up good shows. And for as many people who don't know the theater, there are so many that appreciate it like you. They're like, it's really great that we have this theater in Merced. And we get people from Modesto and Fresno to come up and see shows and the surrounding that realize that
It
we can put on
is.
some nice shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we do have high expectations.
Yeah.
That's what I'm glad, and Rob and I got along pretty early on. And then especially once he became artistic director, they were like, we both want this to be awesome.
Yeah.
And even if it's just being an awesome community theater, there was always talk, we're like, oh, we're going to turn this into a professional theater or whatever, and regional theater. So that's fine, and I would have loved that. But we're a really great community theater.
Yes. Yes.
And if we just do that really well,
Yes, and I appreciate those high expectations,
And that's
and I
what- right, we-
appreciate that. I appreciate the whole, and I can speak very personally about this. I love the way that especially you, as musical director, how you drive people and how you're just like, no,
Thanks.
fuck this shit. This is bullshit. I don't know where this came from, but and just that whole I mean, with me, it was always no, you can sing louder. I can't sing louder. You can sing louder.
I
All right, I can
Right.
sing louder. All right, all right. And but it's a really good thing, and it was just very much okay. You know, I mean, you push people in the sense to where it's not just, you know, like when people think of community theater, they're like, oh man, no.
Right, right.
You know, I mean, you put it to a point to where no, it's not just good enough for a small community. It's good enough for
Yeah,
any
no.
community. And that's what I really appreciate. You know, it's just like, no, you guys take pride in what you guys do. And that's
We want
awesome.
to do awesome work wherever we are, whatever we have.
Yeah.
Do the very best we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I never try to be mean. People, I don't know.
I don't think
I'm
that
just
you're mean.
honest.
You're honest. I don't think that
And-
you're mean. I never take it as mean.
Right on, right.
Yeah.
So when I say that sucks, then that's honest. But then you also know that when I say that's awesome, then I totally mean that.
Fucking awesome.
Where are the people that are just always encouraging?
Exactly.
And I don't know if you can always tell. They're like, oh,
I agree. No, I totally agree.
So like,
That's
no,
what-
when I
yeah.
give you a compliment,
Yeah.
then you
no,
know it's
I
true,
know. That's
'cause-
like, yeah. No, when you're like, you were loud. Yes. That was fucking loud.
Right.
Awesome. Right on. Okay, so what's your email address?
Oh, jshade88.
No, what's your other one? What is it? Or what's your name? What's the AIM name? What is it? What is it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Salieri.
Oh, that's my IM.
Okay.
A. Salieri.
A. Salieri.
Oh,
Okay.
Antonio Salieri. Sorry, Cameron.
Okay. All right. All right. Tell me about
Patron
that.
saint of mediocrity.
Okay. Explain to the viewers who may not know Salieri, because this is, I think, one of the things that we bonded over. Because you said that, and I was like, yes.
Right on it.
Love it.
Amadeus, the movie, or the Broadway show also. Mozart back in the day, and there was his contemporary, Antonio Salieri, who, well, we don't know if all the movie and the show stuff is accurate.
But it sure is awesome.
I know, right? Very interesting story. So Salieri never achieved any kind of fame that Mozart had. And we don't know if indeed that it was his struggle, that he just wanted to do awesome work and really just couldn't. And Mozart was a shithead that churned out all this fantastic stuff. Oh, I love me some Mozart. Oh my God. And actually I was listening to NPR one day and heard this song and was like, yeah, it kind of sounds classical. It kind of sounds like Mozart, but it's really not that great. And they went out and was like, I was like, oh, he was a little less than. But he tried.
No, but I don't know. I think that's funny, but I also think like it's just so like far from the truth with what you do, you know, because not only do you do like Playhouse, but you also do conservatory, and I want you to talk about that too.
Okay.
You know, because I mean, you
Yeah.
just anybody that works with kids is like not the patron saint of mediocrity. That's the patron saint of just sainthood as high level.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I work hard and like to think that I'm a good music director. In my best days, I'm like, no, I can do this. I know what I'm talking about, especially when I'm changing shows around. I'm like, this is crap. We got to fix this shit. I don't know what they were writing.
And you do, and I must say, he really does. I mean, you've done that several times throughout, you know, the production of 9 to 5. It's like, this is bullshit. We're going to do it this way, and it works.
Right on. That's
Yeah,
what. Right.
yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry.
But for the most part, I don't know. I'd never be a Mozart. And so I love the end of the play when he's like, I absolve you. You're fine. Mediocrity is. I'm like, oh, thank you. I'm okay being.
But you're not. You're not. You're so not. No.
Thanks. But I don't know. For some reason, I always.
You're
I understood Salieri. It's like, I get you, man.
I think everybody does in a
Right.
way, but no, I don't think that you are at all.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, So the conservatory, then you teach kids.
I do.
And it's going on right now.
It is.
Okay.
I taught when I first moved out here because I'm a whore. And I actually needed to support myself once I moved out here. So I was like, oh, I'll teach voice classes. Yeah, that's fine. At the time, I think we had 5 levels. Which was
5
crazy,
levels?
Right? And it was a large conservatory, but still there was only, I don't know, 7 or 8 in the lower levels and 3 or 4 in the very top. And that's nice if you have a ton of kids, but for the most part, I think you can do it with 3.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And you have your beginners and you have your whatever and you
Right.
have your
Right. Wow.
yeah. So we were doing a lot of classes and we had a lot of kids.
Yeah.
And it was fine. I didn't really enjoy it. Even now, I found like I love teaching piano lessons, and I can do that. Part of it is you can see results quicker. And I was like, no, see, you can see you're improving. Voice is a very different animal, where you can work and work, and I'm like, you're doing the right thing. I know it doesn't sound like it right now, and I know you got to trust me that it sounds different from what you're hearing.
Right.
So then once you hit it, then that's cool. They're like, oh. So I
Right.
have my students that have stuck with me and worked with them. Wow, you're amazing now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So,
So that is
had,
nice.
So have you had students since for 8 years all the way through?
Elissa Alexander, you know her?
Yes.
Yes, I love me, Elissa.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she's wonderful.
She was in the conservatory in my voice 2 class when I came in. So very young
Wow.
and new. And stayed with the conservatory for a while and then took private with me. And
Wow. And she did the whole spectrum. I mean, she
Yeah.
went like every
yep,
Okay.
she can dance.
Right.
And really just the last 2 years, the acting really kicked in also. But I'm like,
That's
you are
awesome.
now a triple threat.
That
Take
is-
care of that shit, baby.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow.
So it's great to have those that you do see, and if you have the patience and the time to put in. And
Which is really surprising to me, truthfully. I mean, I don't mean to knock you, but
Yeah, fine.
I mean, I just think no, that's not what I mean. It's just I mean, I think that and that's why I think a lot of it is just like a facade with you because you really do. He acts like he's all. You always act like you're pissed, but you must have a lot of patience because if you're like going through, basically half these kids' lives with them and
Right.
really kind of seeing them through fruition. I mean, that's huge. That's huge, and that's like a really big influence. And that's something that I didn't know about you until recently. That you were doing all this and private lessons on the side, which I
Right.
think is just like incredible. I mean, is that rewarding to you? That's not patron saint of mediocrity? Shit, you're like,
no, that's nice and that's what I said. We had thought about moving. We're like, we're only going to stay in Merced for a few years.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And then it got to the point where we're like, well, I want to see these students finish. Like I started
Right.
with them and now, so I want to see them. And now they're gone. I'm like, well, still. I actually like Merced also. I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
yeah,
People talk that I have a lot of patience, and I still don't necessarily believe it. I'm like, okay, because I get upset. With the kids, it's more that I just expect, I treat them as adults. And I'm like, all right, you're coming in here and you're working,
Which is good.
and we're going to do this. Right. Well, I like that too, and think, whatever. But so many of them, they just, like, no, they need encouragement, or they're just here to have,
Do you ever get backlash from parents? Like, does Johnny ever go home and go, he was mean to me, or he said something mean to me?
I don't know. I don't think I've heard from
Okay.
parents, but I've had a lot of students drop, which is totally fine. So this year I'm teaching at the conservatory again, which I had stopped for 2 or 3 years
Okay,
because I didn't.
right.
But when I came back, I was like, okay, but you just have to know that I'm not going to have, if I have 10 kids at the beginning of my class, I might have 4 at the
Right.
end of the, because
Right.
they're all going to realize that they don't like me or I'm pushing them too hard and they're going to drop. And if you're okay with that, if you just want to keep up numbers, then you need someone that's just going to encourage and we're all
Awesome.
going to have a good time.
Yeah.
I was like, the ones that want to do it are going to stick with me. And
That's great. That's great. Because I mean, I know I've had this conversation with you before, but I feel like, there's no room for number 11 in this society. There's no room. I mean, not everybody gets a trophy. And I
Right.
just think that, that's one of the things too that, and I spoke about the same thing with Chente, I think people have kind of pussified their kids in this sense to where, oh, but it's my Johnny, and
Right.
he wants to sing,
Right.
and so you're going to teach him how to sing, and it's like, fuck you, he doesn't have the talent to sing. He
Right.
cannot sing. I mean,
Right.
I'm sorry, I can't teach him
I
to
know.
sing.
I can only
there
do
are some
so
things
much.
that I can do, but I
Right.
can't, and I think that that's really important to have an adult not being completely, shitty, and I know that you're
Right.
not, but just, hey, guys, if you're not going to, number one, apply yourself, number two, hey, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to tell you, this is kind of what it is. then who else is going to tell them that?
Right.
And are they going to work hard enough to get there? And if they don't work hard enough to get there, then fuck them. I mean,
Right.
I'm sorry, I hate to say that. I know they're kids, and I love kids, but it's just that mentality where it's just kind of like, what went wrong with parents along the line? I know they weren't raised that way.
Right.
Why,
that is interesting.
Yeah, why did they, suddenly switch and now everybody should get a trophy and everybody should be number one and everybody should get a part or everybody could, everybody should, get a scholarship or whatever it is, I don't get that. And I think that, what you're teaching with the conservatory, I think it's wonderful because you are teaching them, I think, real world lessons in the sense that, okay, this is what's going to happen when you get into the business world. They're going to say, you suck, or they're going to say, great, you're perfect, or, okay, you got to work on this and you're going to do this. That's how it works.
Right.
And I just think kids these days are really being gypped by parents and even by teachers, just saying, oh, it's okay, you're doing good enough.
Right.
Well, what the fuck is good enough?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the other reasons why I love the, thank you, baby.
Look at that.
I know, he's great. I know, my husband and producer Dan. Another reason why, the theater is so important, any type of arts in Merced especially, considering like all the cuts and everything that are happening in education, but somebody needs to tell these people, hey, but at the same time, there needs to be a breeding ground for these people that they can act, oh, wow, I can do this?
Right.
I can expand this way, I can do this way. You're giving me permission to be a completely different person and be cool about it. That's awesome, So that's cool.
With that, right, part of what I teach and what Chente taught was just confidence. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, you get out here and you do it. Mm-hmm. And this is your opportunity and your venue and you can take care of that. Mm-hmm. So I think that does help that with whatever. I use whatever a lot.
Well, no, but it is. It's true.
Exactly, it's the work ethic. I mean, if you're going to work, I don't care. You can sound terrible, but I know you're working at it. Same with in the show. People apologize. And I've not said it. I've said it in other shows. You don't need to apologize if you're trying. Mm-hmm. If you're messing up, but you're trying your best, then don't need to apologize.
And it's kind of funny because, and I always
if you're not giving 100%.
But I always had this debate with Chente too. My thing was, and I mean, and I know people are, I know a lot of people think I'm a complete bitch for saying it, but it's like, sometimes you either have it or you don't.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And somebody needs to tell your ass sometimes, honey, no, what else do you do?
Yep.
I mean, I'm not a dancer.
Right.
I'm not a dancer, but damn it, I've tried. Yeah, Dan's laughing. I have tried.
This looks bad.
I've tried my ass off, and since we lost Chente, that was my number one priority. It's like, I can sing.
Right.
Now I can sing loud.
Right.
I can act. It's all good. It's cool. But dancing was I've never done that before in my life, but that was really important to me to at least kind of look like, okay, I kind of know what I'm doing, but I know I'm never going to be a dancer. I'm not auditioning for West Side Story. I'm not doing any of that shit because I know that's not my forte, And that's where I think that a lot of the problems come in, and I think that, a lot of the things when, oh, okay, you're giving your 100%, you're doing this, but sometimes when you give 100%, it's like, honey, how about maybe stage manager, or how about, do you know what I mean?
No,
totally.
And
I hate to say that, but I think that it kind of goes back to the whole, I mean, and Chente and I had many discussions about this. He's like, yeah, but you've got to encourage. Yes, you have to encourage, but at the same time, I think you kind of have to be honest. It's like, Chente, I'm not a dancer. Oh, honey, you can do it. Chente, I'm not a dancer. Yeah. You're not a dancer. Okay. And I get that.
It's rough It's rough to have to break that to somebody.
And that's the problem. I don't think, and that's why I think it was so easy with him and me, is because he never had to, you know, I
Right.
never gave him like, oh, I'm gonna be a dancer.
Right.
No, it was never like that. And I just wish that more people would kind of,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And that's where the more it goes on, then I really find some way to. I had one student that played piano and acted in shows and sang and whatever, and just never got it.
Right.
And they really wanted to do it.
Right.
And I'm like,
Honey.
it just.
Right. It's just not going to do it. Yeah. And I think that, you know, you're doing them the best favor that you possibly could doing that. I mean, and I know it's hard. I mean, nobody wants to be like the bad guy. But at
Right.
the same time, do you want to, you know, like I said, do you.
And there will come a point when they will have a rude awakening.
Ooh,
So
and it's going to be a hard awakening because, you know, and that's why I'm always so like adamantly against that. Don't encourage somebody if they don't have
Yeah.
the talent.
Yes.
Because then they're going to go to LA or some shit and they're going to be like, okay, I'm badass.
Yeah.
I've been like, you know, pumped up. Everything's cool. And somebody's just going to go
Right.
and just completely deflate them.
Yeah. And I never want to give that false hope or sense that they're really awesome.
You don't.
No, I don't think so. I'm sometimes very tactful, or I try to be. Like, well, that was the best audition you've had so far. But then they take that as, oh, yeah. But I was like, no, I mean, compared to, that was the best, yeah.
I know. And I totally get that. But at the same time, though, they're getting something, I think, from you that they, and I mean in a very good way, you know, a very critical way that they're not necessarily getting from anybody else.
Right.
You know, I really do. I mean, you know, because even as nice as Rob is, you know, and then, oh yeah, you were fine, you know, it's like, Rob, just tell me I
Right.
sucked.
Right.
It was cool. You know, it's okay. Just tell me
Yeah.
you know. And so with you, I think that's why me personally kind of attached to you so much, because it was like, okay, this guy right here, all I have to do is just kind of like go, okay, can you hear me? No. All right. I'll
It's
go
like-
back and I'll start singing some more loud stuff. Yeah.
I was thinking the top of my lungs.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't
No,
think so.
no, you're not.
I think there's more in you.
But you did. But you did. You did. So are you going to stay in Merced?
I like the theater, and I have a church job, which I really like, and I don't know what more I'm gonna do.
Okay, Salieri.
Being Salieri, yep. I was like, it's probably the best I'll get. So I might
Shut
as well.
up, whatever. No, I feel like you're
Right now, I'm very happy here,
very happy.
so I'm very content to stay for a little while longer. I think there probably will come a time when, and Jenny and I used to talk about this, that it was, you kind of reach that limit. And we're like, okay, I'm pretty done here. This is all I
Right.
can do, and I need to move on.
Right.
So there might, I'm sure that'll happen at some point.
Yeah.
And I do love to open my own theater, love to open my own bar, do lots of stuff. Right?
That would be awesome.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Now, would you consider doing that in Merced, or do you think?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
This town's not big enough for the two
Okay.
theaters.
Okay.
But it's really not. But find some place where has a good theater support. Thank you, sir.
Right.
all
I
right.
know. Producer, barkeep. Thank you, baby. Yeah. But do you see that like more down the line, or do you see
Yeah, I
that?
assume I'll be here for another 5 years, I'm sure.
Okay, good. That's good.
Rob and I, when we both came in, we're like, oh no. He came in as an intern, and I was fresh here. I was like, oh, I'm only going to be here 3 or 4 years.
Right.
And I think suddenly we both were like, oh, we've been here 6 years now.
Good.
Like,
Good.
yep.
I'm glad. Well, I think that we need you. You know, I think that
thanks.
we need. I mean, we need you. We need both of you. I mean, it's just, you know.
That's where, right, I'm happy with what I'm doing, and I think that I'm still doing good. So,
No, yeah, I think you are too. I think you are too. What do you like about Merced?
I wouldn't say I like it. It's fine. No, there's enough to do for me. People talk about, sad, there's nothing to do, blah, blah, blah. But, I'm like, it's fine. I've never been
Yeah.
lacking for. And if I need something to do, then I'll drive to Modesto, Fresno,
Right.
or then San Fran is really
Right.
quite close.
Right.
And I've gone down to LA a couple times because a friend's been in town. I'm like, all right, I can make this drive.
Right.
And
Yeah, it is very convenient. It's
yeah,
very like
there's enough to do around.
Yeah, yeah. No, and there really is. I mean, I always think to myself, I mean, it's funny. I mean, I came from San Antonio, which,
Right.
and a lot of people think that that's like kind of podunk. I think they've only
Oh.
seen it like on, like Pee-wee's Big Adventure
pretty
or
big
something.
city,
Yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is. It's a really big city, and it's very metropolitan, and very,
Right.
very diverse, and very, very arts oriented. Very arts oriented.
They still have a really cowboy house though, don't they?
No.
Really?
No, they don't.
Really?
No, they don't. No, they don't.
I take it as a big city, but I still picture them wearing their
no,
10-gallon
they
hats.
don't. They don't. It's kind of funny. No, and everybody always thinks that. And I'm like, no, they really don't. It's kind of like it's very diverse. But coming here, I think that I'm sorry, I keep looking off camera because people keep coming in. Yay.
Yeah, that's what I'm not worried
I
about.
know. Woo, yeah, hey. But coming from San Antonio, it was funny because when I first got here, I thought, oh my God, no.
Right.
But I actually like the, I like that feeling that you can walk down the street and there's probably a 95% possibility that I'm going to see you and Rob walking down.
Right? Yeah. Totally.
I like that, I like that kind of communal, very just, oh, okay, and especially downtown. I think there's like a very different feel downtown than there is anywhere else. And I think that, kind of the community is really, at least I think the community that's trying to pull together and make something, regardless
Right.
of whether it's art or nightlife or, food, culture, which kind of is art, kind of coming together. And I really, that was something, I mean, San Antonio really had, but it was so big
Right.
that you never,
Right.
you didn't have that opportunity to, there were different groups. And although there are different groups here, they all kind of weirdly, it's like an atom. It's just like, it's
Yeah.
you got your protons and neutrons and electrons and everything, and but they're all kind of in together, and sometimes they pass, and and that's a really, really cool thing for me that I've never had before, just this kind of close-knit thing. And I think that when especially, when Chente passed, I think that the whole kind of community got together.
Right?
And
It was nice.
Yeah, it really
Was
was.
cool.
It was really, really cool, and it just was, and it made me realize, at least, I mean, especially with you and with Rob, and you're much more accessible. I mean, Rob's kind of elusive. I'm like, yeah, he just, this is what he'll do. He'll see you coming and he'll go,
Nope, that's
and he'll
right.
turn the other way, and you're like, okay, peace out. But it just made me realize, wow, we have something really good here, and I don't know. I mean, that's why when I'm like, oh, please stay for another,
Yay.
at least
Like,
5
I'll be
years.
around.
You better.
No, I think it is. I mean, we're 80,000 people, but it feels much smaller.
Yeah.
But it's nice that it is close. I came in and it was already, I mean, you just got here,
Yes. I just got
right?
here. Yeah.
I came in 2004, and I guess it was already starting to become something. My bass player friend Adam has been here forever, and knew it when it was really dead. And he's like, no, I see it growing.
That's great.
And I came in at the point where it was starting, and now I see things happening. So no, I think it can be something awesome.
Yeah.
And still, I was in Augusta, Georgia, which is only, I don't know, 120,000 people?
Yeah, I know, but Augusta, Georgia.
Right?
Hey.
But
No.
this great, Broad Street or some second street, had tons of bars and tattoo shops and art galleries, and it was this great area. And that's not much bigger than Merced.
Right.
And it was sweet and thriving and very cool.
Right.
So I'm like, well, we can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that'll be totally fun. I don't need anything bigger than that or more to do than...
Right. Right. And what do you think's stopping that? I mean, I don't understand.
I don't know, and I'm hoping, I'm the eternal optimist with anything that happens. I'm like, no, it's gonna be, yeah, that'll be great.
Right.
But I think that it is still coming and on the rise. And
And I do
I don't
too.
know.
I mean, I really do. I feel that way, but I just, it's it's tough to like be like, oh, you just feel like it's just right on the brink of things.
Right, that's what's rough also, that you're so close.
And it's
Like,
been,
ugh.
you know, kind of so close for, you know, a couple of years now, and you're just like, oh, when is it going to topple over? And what's the cause of the, you know, stagnant,
Right.
you know, what is that? You know, that kind of thing. I mean, I know that there was like a hookah bar that was going to be opening up, and I thought, yeah, okay, hookah's not my thing, but shit,
Right.
that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's open it up. You know, let's open up a gay
It's
bar.
something
Let's
different,
open
right.
up, you know,
Yeah.
just different things. And I just wonder what is stopping this shit. I mean, you know, I understand wanting to be a small town, but at the same time,
I know. I think part of that is still the small town attitude that they are all about. And I still read the paper, but you get the letters to the editor. I know, right? It's bizarre.
sorry.
Like, what are you?
Sorry,
75 years
Modesto
old?
B. Sorry. All right. Anyway, okay, go ahead.
But you get the letters from the editor, like, I remember when we said, you know, we didn't have all these streets, and why do we need all this stuff going on? I'm like, oh.
I know.
So there's still enough of that faction that, I don't know, misses their old small hometown.
Okay, and perhaps maybe if there was more of the new faction, we'd still have a damn paper and it wouldn't be run out of Modesto. And
Right.
perhaps maybe we'd still have some of the businesses out there. And where were you, old, you know, oh, we didn't have many streets or whatever, you know, frequenting these businesses that were downtown. And
Yep.
that's what I think. And that's why I really think that it really depends on, you know, us and the younger generations to go, okay, come on, guys, what is the lag? You know,
Right,
what
yeah.
is the lag? I don't fucking understand it, you know.
And I've seen things come and close. Had a cool furniture shop where the pool hall is now. Had a skate shop across the street, and they were all really cool things, and they didn't last. Now we've got a couple new bars opening, or some different things, so just see how that goes. Luckily, I mean, J&R's has done very
Yes.
well. Pink Boxes
Yes.
is now expanding.
Partisan.
Partisan,
Yes.
certainly.
Yes.
So the recent things that have opened seem to be
Yeah, which
Keeping a
really
foothold.
does, and it does. I mean, it does give me hope, but I just, you know, I'm really, you know, kind of at the pulse to where, wow, you know, this is just one of those things where you really, and it goes back to exactly, you know, what I asked you as far as how many people know about the Playhouse.
right.
Okay, come on now, the Playhouse has been here for
Right?
ever.
Yep.
You know, I mean, the Multicultural Arts Center. It's like, come on, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why I really think that it's so important to kind of push those things to really, you know.
And that's what maybe it takes outsiders to realize how cool some of these things are. I don't know what town the size has community theater and this cool arts center and whatever, but for a small town, that's some great stuff to have.
It is
So
great.
you need to support it and keep it. And
You really do. Yeah, you really do.
but the
And-
people that have always been here, then they just assume it'll be around or don't know it or don't
Yeah,
frequent
and
it.
that's the thing. But you also need to have, you know, venues. When I say venues, I guess businesses, whether it be bars or restaurants or whatever, where these patrons can go after.
Yep.
When they, you know, they can frequent after. And I just don't. There's some kind of, you know, clog, and
Right.
I can't figure out where that is. You know, I don't know if it's, you know, the city where they're, you know, oh well, we're not gonna permit this, or we don't agree with hookah bars, or we, you know, and it's
Right.
like, how can you stop one business from coming in? And, you know, I mean, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just feel like, well, you don't want it to be successful then.
Right. Right.
You know?
I think it was Bishop that when he was still here, that the local restaurants were opposed to chains coming in downtown. Like, oh, we don't want any of that. Blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, that's fine. People will come down to those, and after they eat there once or twice, they'll get tired, and they'll come to one of the other businesses that's right here.
And there you go.
Right.
There you go.
Competition is not bad, and
Competition
the more stuff
is
that's down
not
here
bad.
just is more opportunity.
And that's great. And that's great, you
Right.
know. And yeah, and we lost him. I mean, we replaced him with Pinocchio's, which is awesome. But,
Right.
you know, we lost him, and I thought he was fantastic. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't like him, but,
Yeah.
you know, The food was great, the drinks
Yeah.
were great. I
No,
mean, you know,
totally.
it was.
Were you around for that, or you just came to visit? Or
I was kind of around for that. It was kind of weird because I was here, but I was working in Sacramento.
Okay.
So I never felt like I was a part of the Merced community because, I mean, my commute was basically, you know,
Right.
5 hours a day.
Yeah.
You know, and so I would frequent there with Dan on the weekends, or you know, sometime when I was like, oh, I'm too tired to cook, whatever. And I love them. And like I said, I know a lot of people didn't, but I love them. I love their food.
Yeah.
I love their drinks. I mean, you know, the bartendress apparently was Bishop's girlfriend, and
Right.
she was a doll.
No, she was
and
great.
yeah, she really was. And so it was, you know, I loved it. And I was really sad to see them go. I'm happy that Pinocchio's is there.
yes.
You know, I'm happy that somebody was able to occupy
Look,
that
that's
space.
prime real estate.
Totally.
And they're doing a good job.
Yes, and being able to like really pull people in, you know.
Yeah.
So there's I don't know if there's like a secret sauce or something that, you know, just like
Yeah.
brings people in. I mean, same with JNR Tacos, same with Pink, you know, Little Pink Boxes. I mean, it's strange, but I really think that what it all boils down to is, you know, I mean, Bishop's pissed off a lot of people. You know, Pinocchio's
Right.
their community, you know, Little Pink Boxes community, JNR
Yeah.
Tacos community. And I think that that's what really needs to happen downtown is just this whole support of, okay, you know, we're all going to support each other. We're all going to do that, you know, hey, I'll come see your shows. Okay, great. Come see.
Yep.
Okay, you know, give these people, you know, the free bread and sauce or whatever at Pinocchio's. Okay, cool. Great. You know, that's kind of what needs to happen. And I think that if we all kind of band together, and I know it sounds very fucking kumbaya, which you know I'm not.
Right. Well, that's where I'm not either. But yeah, no, like we're all.
But it
We're in
needs
this
to
together.
really, yeah, it needs to
Yeah.
come together. And I think that that's kind of what we've proven. And I think that if more people come in like that, you know, and even better, you know, people of the community that want to do that, then,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
we'll be right on, you
Yep.
know, and that's what, I don't know, I'm very passionate about this community, even being new here. Just
Right on.
because
That's cool.
I see
Yep.
the potential. But at the same time, I'm very much like you in the same sense where it's like, come on, fuck me, really?
Right.
You know, you don't know Playhouse or
Right.
you know, or you're closing down. You don't like hookah, so you're gonna fucking close this thing down, which would have taken the UC Merced kids in, which may have gone, oh my God, there's a Playhouse. Shit, I can audition, or oh, I'll go buy a ticket. You know, that's the type of shit that there's like the big disconnect, and that's what drives me crazy.
Yeah. That was the thing. I was here when UC opened. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so great for Merced. And yes, I think it could be, but they have no reason to come into the
Why
downtown.
would they?
Right.
Hookah bar would make them come into town.
Right.
It was 18, okay, they could come. If they were underage, they could go, they could do it. Like I said, oh shit, there's a Playhouse. Oh my God, there's JNR Tacos. Oh, great. And not saying that they don't know that, but hell, they
Yeah.
frequent it more, and they probably see you and me, you know, and if there was an unusual person, I mean, God, the chick that interviewed the chick that auditioned the other day, that looks just like Columbia. And I was like, oh shit, she's gonna take my goddamn part. But, you know, it was like looking at her, and I was like, man, where did you come from?
Right.
Rachel.
Right.
Okay, which Mariposa, Rachel, Judy, in 9 to 5. You know, it's that, you know, that community building, and I think that's what we are missing, sadly enough.
Yeah.
You know, there's only, what, 12 of us? That's really kind of like, hey,
Right.
community.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and that's what bugs me, and that's where I think kind of the whole, all right, well, how do you bridge that together? I just don't know.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And there's my friend Bruce Logue is on, I don't know, the downtown something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know Bruce.
Yeah.
And talks about Tupelo, Mississippi, that was this nothing, and now they are thriving.
Yep.
And like he wants to do well. I mean, there's this core group of people that are trying,
Exactly.
and there are us that want to support and are all about it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we just don't want a bunch of freaking 2-hour meetings and circle jerks.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Agree with that.
I mean, I hate to
That's why
say
I don't
it.
like any meeting.
And that's, and that's what it is, and it's like, you do something.
Yeah.
And that's my thing. It's like, just get up and do it.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's the difference between, it's like, there are doers and there are people that just like to have meetings. And I think that there are a lot of people that just like to fucking have meetings because they can't do anything else. Sorry.
The reason that mankind will never achieve
Yeah.
everything is meetings, because we all sit around and fucking talk.
Yeah.
Hated. I was artistic director for a while and went to the board meetings. And, God.
Yeah. You want to slit your wrists. You want to slit your wrists.
We would talk about this thing for the same, for an hour, and we actually decided
And the
50
same
minutes
meeting
ago.
over and over again, and you're like, didn't we fucking decide? Didn't
Right,
we decide
right.
this last week? I know.
And they all just want to chime in and agree with you. Oh yeah, no, yeah,
I know.
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
know.
come.
I know. I'm the same way. It's like, yeah, and that's it. So there are, and believe me, and I love Bruce, and I think that he is a doer, but it's just, sometimes you're just like, why do I want to waste my time
Right.
when I can just go and, I don't know, use this kind of technology and use this kind of medium to where, hey, guys, let's get it together.
Right. Well, what can we do then,
Mm-hmm.
as you and I and the couple that are interested, rather than all the business people that have to get together for their meetings?
Right.
Is it just supporting
It's
whatever comes in, or?
and that's kind of the conundrum for me. It's like, well, what do we do? Does it go back to the city? Is the city making it too complicated for people to open businesses? Is it the people who, just, I don't know, want to put a couple of flower pots or whatever downtown?
Right.
Is it, what is it? And I haven't found the root cause yet. And that's the thing, that it's like, well, what do you do? And I just feel like, again, going back to it, and, it sounds very kumbaya and all this kind of crap, but I really do think it has to come back to the arts. It has to come back to Playhouse Merced. It has to come back to, the Merced Multicultural Arts Center. It has to
Right.
come back to Merced Theater. That's the anchor, because those are the people that I think, and a lot of people are like, oh, they're fruity, whatever, blah, 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 blah. No, those are the hardest fucking working people that you
Right.
can find out there. And those are the people that you have to kind of get together and go, okay, this is what it has to do. But it can't just be all this sappy crap, like, oh, great,
Right.
let's have a Coke and a smile. It's very much, this is what we can give back to the business community. And this is what we, as a collective can go, okay, you don't think that this is worth it? We employ this many people. With that many people, we have $100,000 in payroll. With that, we live here. So this is X amount of money that we pay into the
Right.
community and what we pay into the businesses.
Right.
It has to be that kind of thinking. And I just think that there's a disconnect between the arts community and the business community where it's not coming together. And,
That's what we'll take care of the downtown. We'll support, because we come
We
and drink
are.
at night. We go and eat at lunch because we never can go very far.
right. No, never,
Right.
never. And even if it's a soda across the street
Yep.
sub shop, we are running across and we're supporting.
Yep.
And I feel like, and again, not even that. It's, okay, well, we are, renting, or we are buying, or we are going through a mortgage company, or we
Yeah,
are doing
totally.
this, or we're.
Now we're here and we've got jobs and we're like, all right, we're
Yep.
going to stay for a while. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
As the Playhouse Merced, we are going to the local paint company and we are buying
Yeah,
paint for the
totally.
damn sets. We are,
Yeah.
and all of the people that are coming working for free as players live in this community and they are buying from this community.
Right.
And I think that's what needs to kind of, I think that's the message that's missing.
right.
So I really do think that it really is and I mean, I never would say this in a million years if I didn't believe it, but I really think it's the arts community that's going to be like, okay, this is what needs to happen and this is what's going to bring it up.
And there's so many people that come for the first time and love it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I didn't think I'd like theater, or I had to drag my husband, but he loved it, or
Right,
I wouldn't like this, but oh wow, what a great production.
right.
And we get students that had to come for parade.
Right.
And they're like, oh my God.
Blown away. And
Right.
how many people did you get, like, you know, to go, God, I'm really interested in, like, I can do this.
Right.
You know, I mean, it is a collective effort.
Yeah.
And I think that's
And lots of my musicians are from the UC, oddly enough.
Oh, I know.
It's all science, and they're all smart kids talking about their mitochondria and city planning. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, all right,
But-
just play the kind of music. All right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But there's that, they're in here, and they want an outlet also for
Right.
their other talents.
Absolutely.
Like, we can all work together and use each other, and
Yep. I think so too. Well, on that note, we'll end it.
okay, good.
It was
'cause
cool.
I have to-
Yeah. You gotta go. You gotta go. He's got a beautiful daughter named Gracie.
Oh, thanks.
I hope
I
you
know.
don't mind me saying that, but yeah, she's beautiful.
pretty
And
awesome.
just yeah, I love you, Gracie. Yeah, no, she's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah. So go be with Gracie.
Thanks.
Thank
I'm
you.
staying for the night. I just had to use the restroom.
Oh,
we
okay,
can talk
cool.
forever.
All right, cool. All right. Well, then I'm gonna have a cigarette and
I'll meet you out
we'll
there.
close it. Awesome. Love you.
Thank you very much. Love
Thank
you.
you.